अरे मेरे राजा
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
MDH की देगी मिर्च
देगी मिर्च का तड़का अंग अंग फड़का
MDH की देगी मिर्च
Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my...
In February, you made a public claim that the Epstein client list was, quote, sitting on my desk right now for review, end of quote. You then produced already public information and no client list at a major media event hosted at the White House. Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my desk along with the JFK files, the Martin Luther King files. And I said I had not yet reviewed it. And if you see our memo on Epstein, you will see, our memo on Epstein clearly points out that there was no client list, our July 6th memo.
Going back to the Epstein files, according to another whistleblower who made a protected disclosure to my office, you pushed the FBI to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records on an arbitrarily short deadline in March, and the FBI was directed to flag any documents that mentioned President Trump. Nothing came of that review until July when DOJ and FBI released an unsigned memo stating, quote, there's no incriminating client list. Why was the July 7th memo unsigned?
The July 7th memo came from the FBI and the Department of Justice. Director Patel answered those questions very clear. And, you know, Senator Durbin, I find it very interesting that you refused repeated Republican requests to release the Epstein flight logs in 2023 and 2024. You fought that. Did you?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Afghanistan-Taliban government has accused Pakistan on Friday of conducting raids in their capital city of Kabul, where airstrikes were conducted on land, and now they have warned of severe consequences. As per reports, 11 Pakistani soldiers have already lost their lives and many more casualties have been reported. According to Pakistani security officials, 11 more have died on the clashes on just Friday, where the TTP, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, has been in a retaliation spree, with the Afghan Taliban also now getting involved. Here's a detailed report and a package on what this entire situation on the Durand line at the moment is all about. Take a look.
The ferocious escalation of violence along the Afghanistan-Pakistan border was not a mere spontaneous flare-up. It was the immediate and brutal fulfillment of an explicit threat of revenge issued by Kabul in response to Islamabad's aggressive cross-border actions. The current conflict is rooted in a deadly cycle. Earlier, the Pakistani military announced that its forces had avenged the killing of 11 soldiers by ambushing and killing 30 militants, elements often accused of operating from Afghan soil in the Orakzai district. However, the subsequent alleged Pakistani airstrikes on the Afghan capital of Kabul and Paktika province were what broke the barrier of direct hostility. Immediately following the explosions in Kabul, which were widely attributed to the Pakistani military, the Afghan Defense Ministry issued an unambiguous public condemnation. The ministry condemned the action as an unprecedented, violent, and provocative act that violated Afghanistan's sovereignty and warned of serious repercussions. The threat was specific and unequivocal. This cowardly attack will not go unanswered, and if the situation escalates, the responsibility will be of the Pakistani military. This official warning was swiftly followed by a high alert decree from the highest levels of the Islamic Emirate. In a move signaling full military readiness, Taliban chief Mullah Akhundzada reportedly released a statement asking soldiers to be on guard 24/7 and ordering all province chiefs to patrol at night. This command served as the public mobilization order, preparing Afghan forces to execute the promised revenge. Within hours, the Taliban operationalized their threat. The Afghanistan's 201st Khalid bin Walid Army Corps launched full-scale retaliatory strikes on Pakistani outposts in Nangarhar and Kunar. The results of the swift offensive, which rapidly escalated to artillery exchanges across Kunar, Dangam, Burkot, and Paktia, delivered the threatened consequences. The Afghan Defense Ministry claims that Taliban Islamic Emirate forces captured several outposts from the Pakistan Army. In Khoust's Zazi Maidan area, Afghan border guards cut the border fence wire and seized multiple Pakistani posts, capturing military weapons in the process. Reports confirm mass casualties on the Pakistani side, with initial tallies claiming at least 8 Pakistani soldiers were killed in the intense clashes. Afghan forces also reportedly destroyed 2 Pakistani outposts across the Durand Line in Kunar and Helmand provinces. The ongoing border fighting is thus framed not merely as a security incident, but as a direct, promised act of revenge following a clear diplomatic warning.
सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला डिलीशियस हेल्दी एवरीडे
Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my...
In February, you made a public claim that the Epstein client list was, quote, sitting on my desk right now for review, end of quote. You then produced already public information and no client list at a major media event hosted at the White House. Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my desk along with the JFK files, the Martin Luther King files. And I said I had not yet reviewed it. And if you see our memo on Epstein, you will see, excuse me, our memo on Epstein clearly points out that there was no client list, our July 6th memo.
Going back to the Epstein files, according to another whistleblower who made a protected disclosure to my office, you pushed the FBI to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records on an arbitrarily short deadline in March, and the FBI was directed to flag any documents that mentioned President Trump. Nothing came of that review until July when DOJ and FBI released an unsigned memo stating, quote, there's no incriminating client list. Why was the July 7th memo unsigned?
The July 7th memo came from the FBI and the Department of Justice. Director Patel answered those questions very clear. And, you know, Senator Durbin, I find it very interesting that you refused repeated Republican requests to release the Epstein flight logs in 2023 and 2024. You fought that. Did you take money from Reid Hoffman, campaign donations, who was a huge Epstein friend? Why did you fight for years Why did you fight to not disclose the flight logs, Senator Durbin?
I can tell you I did not refuse. One of the senators here wished to.
Viewers, coming up next week on Republic Media Network is one of India's biggest thought leadership conclave, the Our Bharat Rashtra Sarvopari Sammelan. Our theme this year is Atmanirbhar Shaktishali Bharat. Join us as we bring together voices from politics, culture, defense, spirituality and enterprise, all united by one vision. Next week on October 15th at Republic Headquarters from 9:30 a.m. onwards. Be there. It's time for the headlines now. Republic crew lands in Afghanistan, brings you detailed input as Pakistan-Afghanistan clashes intensify. Afghanistan government claims at least 58 Pakistani soldiers were killed, over 30 injured in clashes along the Durand line. Afghanistan issues stern warning to Pakistan, says will not leave any attack unanswered. Taliban minister says Pakistan harboring ISIS on its soil. Taliban government slams Pakistan's deep state for disturbance in Afghanistan. Viewers, we are live and breaking. 58 Pakistani soldiers have been killed in the border clashes with the Afghan forces along the Durand line, and the Taliban government has made it clear that attacks from Islamabad will not go unanswered. Republic's crew has landed in Afghanistan, and we bring you this detailed report from the ground. Take a look.
Jai Hind, ladies and gentlemen, and this is an undisclosed location somewhere near the Kunar province, and there is another province called Nangarhar. So these are making the bulge. So I am at somewhere near a province called Kunar, and as you can see, this is a area which is adjoining the Pakistan's Gilgit-Baltistan area, and a huge number of Taliban fighters have started their infiltration from the Kunar province. And as you can see from my right, you can see a little entrant from there. So that is one of the locations where there has been a lot of activity and entering into the forested areas beyond this ridge into Gilgit-Baltistan. And one of the major reasons why this area has been selected by the Taliban to ramp up their operations is because of its mountainous features. There is also vegetation onto the other side of the ridge, which accommodates to getting cover. So basically what has happened is there is a bulge which is from Nangarhar and to the Kunar province. So this bulge is actually giving the advantage to Taliban for attacking the Pakistani posts, and they are at a vantage point, so they have advantage for infiltration and spreading their resources and attack in the Kunar province. So if we tactically see, the Kunar province is adjoining POK, that is Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and with the unrest which has been taking place in Gilgit-Baltistan, so it is imperative that there can be some connection between the freedom fighters in Gilgit-Baltistan and the Taliban fighters. So it is a matter of great concern that if this conflict increases, it is going to cause a lot of ramifications, a lot of geopolitical issues. And one of the main issues that the Taliban has been facing is most of their posts are made up of shelters. So these shelters are basically fiber reinforced plastic and metal sheets. So most of them have been destroyed by the Pakistan forces, and whereas the Pakistan posts are concerned, they are fortified, they are cemented, but they are isolated. That is the advantage that the Taliban is taking and doing the infiltration surrounding these posts. And since last 3 days, they have inflicted a lot of casualties and have destroyed large part of these posts, which are now rendered unserviceable and cannot be guarded or occupied by the Pakistan forces. So this is the situation which is unfolding in the northwest border of the Taliban and the Pakistan forces, which has been taking place. Yes, the Taliban is on the back foot at few locations, at Helmand and few more provinces, where Pakistanis are using night vision thermal enabled drones for attacking Taliban, who are trying to tactically place their positions to counter and to surround the hostile Pakistan forces. And as far as the Hepta incursions are concerned, they are regular and they increase with the frequency after 8 in the evening. So it is imperative that the attack Heptas and the drones that the Pakistan forces are using are enabled with night fighting capability and high caliber weapons. And at the moment, the Taliban has the firepower, but they do not have anti-aircraft weapon systems. So probably that is what is holding them back. But at night, they avoid moving right now at the moment. They prefer moving during day, because at night it is really becoming difficult for the Taliban to move in towards the Konar border and expand its operation into Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. This is Major Samar signing off from an undisclosed location near Konar. Thank you.
Getting you some breaking news coming in as anger peaks over Durgapur gang rape horror by shaming the rape victim, the survivor. When asked about the Durgapur rape case, Mamta says, ask the police about this as it is their domain, not mine. Mamta stooped lower and asked how did the victim manage to go out at 12:30 at night. Girls should not be allowed to come outside at night. They also have to protect themselves, especially as there is a forest area nearby. I'm just getting these updates coming in because already 3 people have been arrested in Durgapur medical student gang rape case. The manhunt continues. However, CM Mamta Banerjee has made these statements where she has said that you can ask the police about this. It is police's domain, not mine, and has asked this question, which is quite shocking given the fact that this has happened in her state where she is the chief minister. Just once again telling you exactly what's happened, we see that Mamta said, ask the police about this, and Mamta stooped lower and asked how did the victim manage to go out at 12:30 at night. We have that statement coming in of the CM. Let's go and play it up.
She was studying in a private medical college. So all the private medical college, whose responsibility? How they came out in the night at 12:30. And it happens in the, so far I know, forest area. And 12:30, I do not know what happened. Investigation is on. I'm shocked to see the incident. But private medical colleges also is to take care for their students. And especially the girl child at night time. They should not be allowed to come out in the outside. They have to protect themselves also.
All right, let's go across to Kishila is joining us live from Republic Bangla Newsroom. Kishila, we have seen already and heard what Mamta Banerjee has said. The BJP has launched a scathing attack on Mamta Banerjee and has questioned the law and order in the state of West Bengal.
Well, exactly, and shocking remarks from a woman chief minister herself, where she's saying especially girls should not be allowed to go out at night for their security. This is what Mamata Banerjee, the woman chief minister of West Bengal, is saying in public in a press conference before she is heading for North Bengal, when the whole state is completely so angry. The people are so angry after the incident of Durgapur, where a medical student was gang raped, again allegedly, like Arjikor, though we have seen that several other rape cases are also happening, including Jalpaiguri. So Mamata Banerjee has said today that child, she's using the word, I think she's wanting to mean that the girl students should not go out at night. They should not be allowed to go out at night. That is what she's saying. And she's saying that it is not possible for the police to go and sit at every home, so everyone has to take care of their own security. She's saying that this is a private medical college, so she's implying that it is not her duty or the duty of the police department, she being the police minister as well, to protect the girls who are studying in a private college, private medical college. This is what she is implying. So people of West Bengal are angry at this remark. The women of West Bengal are bursting out in anger, and also we are getting so many reactions where people are saying, common people are saying that a woman chief minister using such insensible remarks and exposing the severe situation of law and order in West Bengal, especially for women, this is the proof in itself, where the chief minister has to say that women should not be allowed to go out at night. This is a severe statement, insensible statement by the chief minister.
Right, Kishal, and I just want our viewers to once again hear what Mamata Banerjee had said a short while back.
Starting in a private medical college. So all the private medical college, whose responsibility? How they came out in the night at 12:30. And it happens in the, so far I know, forest area. And 12:30, I do not know what happened. Investigation is on. I'm shocked to see the incident. But private medical colleges also is to take care for their students, and especially the girl child at night time. They should not be allowed to come out in the outside. They have to protect themselves also.
All right, let's go back to Kishal, who's joining us live. Kishal, we heard that statement once more. The investigation is underway in this case. But also, let's put our focus on the situation in West Bengal. We have seen many incidents which are very similar, where we see that the lives of women and girls in West Bengal are in danger. We have seen multiple rape and gang rape cases coming in. And the same question keeps getting asked again and again is, why are these incidents coming out from West Bengal again and again?
So many incidents, in fact, nature of this incident is similar like Arjikor. In the case of Arjikor gang rape case, the woman was murdered, the medical student was murdered, but this person has been gang raped, and she is with severe injuries. She is admitted in the hospital. Now this happened so close to that particular medical college that it can almost be said that it is very near to the campus. It's just a few hundred feet away from the campus. So it is a question of the security provided by the police as well. Is it not the responsibility of the state police to ensure that a medical college, where hundreds of students, thousands of students come from even outside the state, is secured by guarding it throughout the day and throughout the night? Is it not the responsibility of the police ministers to see this? This particular medical student who was raped, gang raped allegedly, she came from Odisha, Balasore. She came from Odisha to study, and now she is in the hospital in a very severe situation. She is being treated there, and she has been allegedly gang raped so close to her college, and the chief minister comes out and says that this is an incident in a private medical college, so she is not really
hold on, Kishale. Mr. Jagannath Sarkar, Bengal BJP MP is joining us on the phone line. Really want to go across and take a reaction. Mr. Sarkar, your reaction coming in. We heard what Mamata Banerjee has said, where she is saying that it was a private institute what do I do? What do I do? This is a police's domain. That is exactly what she said about this gang rape case coming in from West Bengal.
देखिए, बंगाल को जो हाल बना दिया ममता ने वोट का लालच में, वो रेपिस्ट को सजा नहीं देते, कहाँ जहां घटना घटते उनका सफाई देने के लिए रेपिस्ट से पक्ष में लेते, इसलिए पुलिस भी उनका पक्ष में जा रहा है कि ममता बनर्जी खुद पुलिस मंत्री भी है। इसलिए बंगाल का हाल ऐसा बनाने के बाद ये हर रोज ये बढ़ रहा है कि उनका पनिशमेंट नहीं हो रहा है। इस बारे में ममता जो सजेशन दिया वो मीडिया करके जो लड़की लोगों को रात में बाहर आना सही नहीं, प्रशासन खत्म करके ये रेपिस्ट को वोट लाने के लिए ऐसा बयान दे सकते किसी स्टेट का सीएम, ये सोचा नहीं को भी। ये गलत बात ममता ने बोल रहा है सिर्फ वोट के लालच में। वो सोच रहा है जो ऐसा काम कदम उठाएंगे बंद कर देंगे तो रेपिस्ट को वोट नहीं मिलेंगे, तो वो इसलिए कोई देश खिलाफ काम करते उनको भी कोई पनिशमेंट नहीं देते। सारी करप्शन को बारे में मदद तो ही दे रहा है। समाज को अधोपतित करके वोट लाना ही ममता का काम है, इसलिए ये बयान दे सकते ममता का पक्ष में ही संभव और किसी को संभव नहीं है।
All right, thank you, Mr. Jagannath Sarkar, Bengal BJP MP, joining us there, getting a reaction. We're getting some more reactions from the BJP spokesperson Shahzad Poonawalla has also spoken on this matter. Let's go and play out his reaction.
Once again, Mamata Banerjee's comments, most misogynistic, patriarchal comments which do victim shaming, have come to the fore. Instead of standing in solidarity with the gang rape victim, which was a rerun of RG-Kar, she is now siding in a sense with the vote bank and with the accused or with the balatkaris by saying that the woman was wrong. Why the women or the girls are getting out in the night. In the RG-Kar case also similar such stupid arguments were made. We have seen that time and again, whether it is Sandesh Khali, the woman is blamed, the women who are from SC/ST community are blamed, and Shah Jahan is protected. In post-poll violence, the women are doubted and the TMC Karyakartas who have done the rape or the molestation are protected. Now in the RG-Kar case or in this particular case, the victim is shamed again, victim is blamed again. But those who say ladki hu lad sakti hu, those who are outraging just yesterday about women's rights and women's issues, they are eloquently silent. Will they now outrage against Mamata's statement? No, they will not. Mamata Banerjee failed to protect the girl and now she's blaming the victim, she's blaming the girl, and she has done this all the time. She has done this in Park Street rape case, she has done this in Nadia rape case. Once a 14-year-old girl was raped, she has said it is a love affair gone bad. This is the kind of mentality. It's an anti-woman mindset. It is a Mati, Manush, Mahila Virodhi mindset.
And viewers, Bengaluru South MP Tejasvi Surya inspected the land acquisition site in Lal Bagh in connection with the Tunnel Road project. Here's a quick report. Take a look.
BJP MP Tejasvi Surya inspected the land acquisition site in Lal Bagh in connection with the Tunnel Road project. Tejasvi said that the Tunnel Road project as proposed by the Karnataka government is a disaster for Bengaluru. Tejasvi further said that the expensive car-only project will not solve Bengaluru's traffic problems.
The Tunnel Road project as proposed by the state government is a disaster for Bengaluru. This expensive car-only project will not solve Bangalore's traffic problems, but it will cause new problems that will haunt generations of people of Bengaluru. Today, I had called the officials of the GBA to come and explain the 6 acres acquisition that they are doing in Lal Bagh. No officials has ever come and made any assessment, any survey or any consultation. I asked them if they have made a environment impact assessment, which is mandatory before a tunnel road project is made.
इंतकामी ऑपरेशन हुआ तो उन्होंने अपने अहदाफ को हासिल किया और जाहिर है कि हम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इसका ख्याल रखता है कि इस सिलसिले में आवाम को नुकसान न पहुँचे। अच्छा बहुत शुक्रिया हाँ बहुत शुक्रिया आपके आने से, चूँकि हमारा दूसरे प्रोग्राम में होता है इसलिए बहुत कम है। अच्छा इंशाल्लाह।
All right, viewers, that was the right live from the Afghanistan embassy, viewers, because we were waiting for some reactions to come in on the Pakistan-Afghanistan border clashes, which have been reported. Remember, this is coming in after we saw the Pakistan-Afghanistan border clashes. We are getting a lot of updates coming in because we have seen that there has been a massive casualties, especially when it comes to the Pakistan side. So Pakistan has suffered major casualties. Afghanistan has gone ahead. It has struck Pakistan. It's been a multi-front revenge operation which has dealt a huge blow to Pakistan. And viewers, Afghanistan's Taliban government has accused Pakistan of conducting airstrikes on its land and warned of consequences. This accusation comes as Islamabad has claimed it was taking action against militants. According to Pakistani security officials, we see that many Pakistani soldiers have died in a clash with Islamist militants in the Tira area near the Afghan border. Take a look as we track all the developments coming in.
The ferocious escalation of violence along the Afghanistan-Pakistan border was not a mere spontaneous flare-up. It was the immediate and brutal fulfillment of an explicit threat of revenge issued by Kabul in response to Islamabad's aggressive cross-border actions. The current conflict is rooted in a deadly cycle. Earlier, the Pakistani military announced that its forces had avenged the killing of 11 soldiers by ambushing and killing 30 militants, elements often accused of operating from Afghan soil in the Orakzai district. However, the subsequent alleged Pakistani airstrikes on the Afghan capital of Kabul and Paktika province were what broke the barrier of direct hostility. Immediately following the explosions in Kabul, which were widely attributed to the Pakistani military, the Afghan Defense Ministry issued an unambiguous public condemnation. The ministry condemned the action as an unprecedented, violent, and provocative act that violated Afghanistan's sovereignty and warned of serious repercussions. The threat was specific and unequivocal. This cowardly attack will not go unanswered, and if the situation escalates, the responsibility will be of the Pakistani military. This official warning was swiftly followed by a high alert decree from the highest levels of the Islamic Emirate. In a move signaling full military readiness, Taliban chief Mullah Akhundzada reportedly released a statement asking soldiers to be on guard 24/7 and ordering all province chiefs to patrol at night. This command served as the public mobilization order, preparing Afghan forces to execute the promised revenge. Within hours, the Taliban operationalized their threat. The Afghanistan's 201st Khalid bin Walid Army Corps launched full-scale retaliatory strikes on Pakistani outposts in Nangarhar and Kunar. The results of the swift offensive, which rapidly escalated to artillery exchanges across Kunar, Dangam, Burkot, and Paktia, delivered the threatened consequences. The Afghan Defense Ministry claims that Taliban Islamic Emirate forces captured several outposts from the Pakistan Army. In Khost's Zazi Maidan area, Afghan border guards cut the border fence wire and seized multiple Pakistani posts, capturing military weapons in the process. Reports confirm mass casualties on the Pakistani side, with initial tallies claiming at least 8 Pakistani soldiers were killed in the intense clashes. Afghan forces also reportedly destroyed 2 Pakistani outposts across the Durand line in Kunar and Helmand provinces. The ongoing border fighting is thus framed not merely as a security incident, but as a direct, promised act of revenge following a clear diplomatic warning.
Much of coming right up. A Republic crew lands in Afghanistan, brings detailed input as Pakistan-Afghanistan clashes intensify. Afghanistan government claims at least 58 Pakistani soldiers were killed, over 30 injured in clashes.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
Bliss weaves the magic of warmth into a cold day. Experience bliss in all its forms with Hindware. Hindware, designed for bliss.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो, मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार, विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Lashkar-e-Taiba's deputy chief Saifullah Kasuri, who is believed to be the mastermind behind the Pahalgam terror attack, has openly threatened Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a clip that is now going viral on social media. In the video, Kasuri can be seen praising Pakistan Army Chief General Asim Munir, referring to him as Field Marshal, requesting him to teach a lesson to PM Modi similar to the Pahalgam attack on May 10, 2025.
हम सतलज के किनारे पर इस वक्त मौजूद हैं और ये दरिया सतलज जो हिंदुस्तान से होता हुआ हमारे जिला कसूर से इसी इलाके से पाकिस्तान में दाखिल होता है। मुझे भी सैलाब के दिनों में ज्यादा वक्त सतलज के किनारे पे सतलज की लहरों में सतलज की ऊपर चलने वाली कश्तियों और बेड़ों में ज्यादा वक्त गुजारने का मौका मिला है और मैं खूब जानता हूं ये सतलज में जो सैलाब आया है ये कुदरती सैलाब सारे का सारा नहीं था, ये मसनूई था, ये दुश्मन की अदावत थी, ये उसकी गुंडागर्दी थी, ये उसकी बदमाशी थी और आज भी वो गीदड़ धमकियां लगाता है। 10 मई वो 2025 का 10 मई आज हिंदुस्तान भूल गया। हम कहते हैं अपने सिपह सलार को, अपने फील्ड मार्शल को, आज का ये हजारों का मजमा, ये अपने फील्ड मार्शल को अपने
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
I'm going to take a moment here and request you to give a nice big round of applause for Mr. Shankar Bala and Bharat Vishwanath, the entire team of Fourth Dimension Media Solutions that has made this happen. I asked the founders, what is the purpose of this summit? What is the objective? And they said three things. Number one, learning from leaders. Number two, unlearning what's not important. And number three, best of the top two. So let's begin the much-awaited summit with the lighting of the lamp. Viravan Tuvakamaga, Vilekatral, and for this I invite our distinguished leaders and visionaries whose presence truly elevates this gathering, and through the honors, I invite Mr. Satish Kumar T, Chairman and Managing Director at Milky Miss Dairy, Dr. Shanti Duraisamy, Director, Shakti Masala Private Limited, Dr. P.C. Duraiswamy, Founder, Shakti Masala Private Limited, our beloved Vedic scholar, Dushyant Sridhar, M. Krishnan, Chairman and Managing Director, Sri Krishna Sweets, Mr. Ramesh S. Ramakrishnan, Chairman, Transworld, Mr. Mohit Joshi, CEO, Havas Media Network India, Mr. Venkatesh Vijay Raghavan, MD and CEO, TTK Prestige Limited, Mr. M.V. Manigandan, Founder and CMD, Edisa Developers, Mr. Manohar, Director, Pudhiya Thalaimurai, Dr. Rajamani, the CEO of Pudhiya Thalaimurai. May I please invite all of you to join us on stage to light the lamp. Illuminating every corner it touches, ladies and gentlemen, South India's media shines with insight and influence. Group photo, please. Group photo. A quick group photo. Balamaha Kaitati Kondaduama. Big round of applause to the wonderful luminaries onto the stage. Present the mementos to our wonderful dignitaries on stage. May I please invite Mr. V.K.C. Razak, MD, India's V.K.C. to please join us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, with a nice big round of applause. Thank you, sir, for joining us. To present it to Mr. Satish Kumar, T, Chairman and Managing Director at Milky Miss Dairy. Please step forward and accept the memento. Thank you. Thank you so much. To Dr. Shanti Duraisamy, thank you for those encouraging words, ma'am. You've been a huge pillar of support. Thank you. To Dr. P.C. Duraiswamy Abargal. Thank you so much, Dushyant, for joining us. A big round of applause once again. Next up, I invite Mr. Atul Prabhu, Director, Product Management. That's Truecaller to please join us here. With a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. To present it to Dushyant Sridhar. Thank you so very much. To felicitate Mr. M. Krishnan, Chairman and Managing Director, Sri Krishna Sweets. To do the honors, Atul. Thank you. And to felicitate Mr. Ramesh S. Ramakrishnan. Thank you. To felicitate Mr. Mohit Joshi. Thank you, Mr. Mohit, for joining us and making this a huge success with your presence. Next up, I invite on stage Mr. Balamurli, CEO, Transworld Dubai, to felicitate, to honor Mr. Venkatesh Vijay Raghavan. Thank you. To honor Mr. Manigandan. Mr. Manohar, Director, Pudhiya Thalaimurai, and Dr. Rajamani, the CEO of Pudhiya Thalaimurai as well. One last picture with the wonderful dignitaries. Take center stage. Last time you didn't. We just want you in the center of the stage for a quick group photo. What a grand beginning for South India Media Summit 2025, ladies and gentlemen. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have amazing visionaries, leaders whose passion, creativity, and impacts make us all incredibly proud today. So yes, South Indian Media Summit 2025 launches with unstoppable energy. So may I invite on stage Mr. Anand, co-founder, Sweet Karam Coffee, Mr. Manikandan, founder and CMD Odysseus Developers, Mr. Vijay Sunku, director, Parimal Mandir, Ms. Geeta Ramakrishnan, co-founder, Seven Doors to Heaven, and this session will be moderated by Mohit Joshi, CEO, Havas Media Network India. Ladies and gentlemen, with a nice, thunderous round of applause as we kickstart the very first session.
Thank you very much, and welcome to the South India Summit, something that Shankar, Bharat and team have been doing fabulously for the last so many years. So a big round of applause to them once again, please. Sitting here, we don't realize the amount of effort that goes behind creating it. And yesterday, a few of us were saying that it's become like an annual, the way you go to a temple once in a year, you have to go to Shankar's South India Summit. So it's like a tirth, as we call it. And we do it because of the love and relationship that we have with him. When he calls you, you cannot say no. So having said that, I'm really humbled to be here sitting with such leaders in the industry, and the discussion that we are going to be doing is around decision making, something that you are doing practically every day, many times. And I want to understand from each one of you on the various nuances of decision making. Some say that you can't make decisions based on fear, the possibility of what might happen. Some say the art of decision making includes the art of questioning, and everybody has a different way of decision making. And the way the environment has been changing, the fast changing business environment, I think decision making is also becoming so much more complex, because initially if a decision could be taken for a longer period of time, today you have to decide on a daily basis. So I want to first understand what is decision making as per you guys. So Mr. Anand, as a founder of a fast scaling consumer brand, how do you define informed decision making in your day-to-day business?
Thanks, Mohit. First of all, I take a minute to thank Shankar and for this opportunity. It's an honor to be on the stage amidst all the stalwarts. So thank you so much, Shankar. Thanks, Mohit, for the opportunity. So as a startup, for us, time is gold. I think decision making to us is the balance of speed and thought. It's a fine balance between using logical reasoning and data, and with a leap of faith. So it's a clear balance between both. While the logic gives me the confidence, the belief gives the courage to take a decision. So it's very, very important for us. And I strongly believe that any decision that is not taken within the time has no value to it. And for us being in food industry, the trend keeps changing, not even previously it was quarter, it was months. Now it keeps changing every day, depends on weather, mood, and a lot of trends keeping changing day by day. So you need to be on the toes. By the time you take the decision, the trend would have already become outdated. So it's a fine balance between speed and thought.
Well said, sir. Well said. Sir, Vijay sir, and you have a legacy business, legacy category like agarbattis. Do you feel decision making is more about experience and intuition than data? While the gentleman here talked about data and said that everything has to be data driven. You, in your experience, how do you manage the balance between data and intuition?
See, for a new age companies like Sweet Karam Coffee, it would be much more easier to decide because of a new age being in place, and largely it is data driven decisions which will be easier for them to make. But for a legacy companies like us, which is a 75-year-old company, we have a balance of old age theory and the new age Gen Z management. And what makes a big challenge for us is all these decades of our existence, the decision-making process was purely based on experience. Due to the unavailability of data in those times. But now the challenges are much more complex. The data is in place, and you have, on the other hand, the experience which we largely believed all along.
I want to understand your perspective, Mani sir. What is your perspective on this? How do you see this evolving in your industry, the mental health awareness, and do you have certain perspectives or some ways of assessing that for your people?
So it's not how strong you are physically, it's how strong you mentally decides how strong person you are. So in our organization also we face today many problems. Many youngsters are there. Once a small problem could not solve, they get stressed and they are very much agitated. So for this in our organization, we are maintaining a strong policy of making to learning and development, to HR, we are giving a strong training for making people to solve, how to solve their problem, how to handle their problem, how to bring their problem to the management. Many people doesn't bring the problem to the management. Keeping the problem with them itself is causing a mental stress for them. So once the problem is solved, they're mentally very strong. Once the problem cannot be solved, they're mentally very weak. So in any organization, once we tell from lower employee to any higher employee to bring the problem or solve the problem, we train themselves, the mental stress goes very low. So that is a perspective from my side.
Okay, and this is a very important topic.
And the culture also plays a vital role.
Absolutely.
A big round of applause, such prominent speakers, and more importantly, what an amazing session. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to our next session, which will spotlight business strategies, contingency plans, and negotiating positions for the media and entertainment sector. And the panelists for this session are trailblazers, shaping business and innovation. And for this, I invite on stage Mr. Vivek Nabisan, Managing Director, Nabisan's Dairy Private Limited. Mr. Ganesh Ram, MD and Chief Executive Officer, MF Utilities. Mr. Shrikant Ramani, Director, SGR 777 Foods Private Limited. Mr. KB Balamurli, COO, Transworld Dubai, UAE. To please join us on stage. And we have Mr. Karthik Sharma, Group CEO, Omnicom Media Group, will be moderating this session. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second session, and you know how fabulous it has been, so give them a nice big round of applause as we welcome them on stage.
What is your single most important priority as a leader, and how are you aligning your respective organizations to deliver on the expectations? Anyone can start and then build on each other.
Yeah. Hi, Karthik. Thank you for that question. So I think, jumping into your question, I think you just need to be relevant at this point of time. And, to be relevant, you need to embrace change. Right? So I was also attending a leadership program by the LMI Institute. And I was actually fascinated by one of their bylines, which said, challenge to change and changed to challenge, right? So I think I would just want to go by that. And to answer your second question on how do you align yourself, your organization for this, I think in one word, I think it's just going to be how it's preparation, right? And how well you're going to prepare your organization. Because I believe that, the will to succeed is important, but the will to prepare is vital. Thank you.
The better way is don't look at the market, right? So just be happy, and if the moment you're going to go to the market, obviously your BP will go up and all those stuff. So better to, but the one good thing is, I just want to ask the audience, as an industrialist, a lot of people are there. How many people have invested or put your money in mutual fund? This portion is not that, this portion is there.
Just one disclosure, I'm your customer. I use MF Utilities.
No, yeah. So what I'm saying is, I think the better way is to kind of stay invested. SIPs is one of the best. So if you look at India, so it's quite unique. Only 6 to 8% of the household income comes into mutual fund. Whereas in US, if you see, it's around 78%. So there is a huge gap between the Western country and what we have. But I think before COVID, it was not even 1%. Now it has gone to around 8%. I think things are moving on.
Actually, of course, profit is important. But when you prioritize the customers, when you prioritize governance, when you prioritize your brand, profit becomes a natural byproduct. Further dwelling into this, prioritizing customers. So we don't provide logistics services, but logistics solutions. So how does the customer and the customer's customer make profit? When you start thinking from that lens, you naturally become the preferred partner for the customer. From a governance perspective, ESG is something very, very important. Sustainability is the key. The customers, the employees of today and tomorrow, they are very much aware of what kind of product they are buying. I know my kids, they don't go to certain retail chains because the labor practices there are not fair. So this is how the Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas are thinking. And talking about the brand image is most important because it's often the customers or your partners pay a premium if your brand value is really at the peak.
In terms of the product price per se. So innovation has to keep on happening. So for a company like ours, a recipe of a particular product, to be honest, has to be changed because of the palatability. What kind of food and the taste of the food which my seniors, my fathers or my grandfather had, which we have formulated a recipe, being a 70-year-old brand, would not be in today's generation or to the next generation. So it is not only the recipe per se, it involves all the packaging part, the innovation in terms of product offerings which we do, and also the convenience of the product in terms of the utility of the same product which is being handled. So what we do from our company point of view is we ensure that we retain the core functionality of any particular product per se, but we still keep on changing the finer nuances based on towards palatability. Yes, on doing that, what happens is there's a kind of a cost element which involves, but then the scale most of the time takes care of it. The sourcing strength takes care of it most of the time, and therefore big is always beautiful for us.
I also request Mr. John Nair, Chief Operating Officer Trinity, and Princey Roy from ULS Services to please join us here near the stage. Can you pose with the book? We can take a quick photo. Step forward. Let me go ahead and invite them on to the stage, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Venkatesh Vijay Raghavan, MD and CEO, TTK Prestige Limited. Mr. VKC Razak, MD, India's VKC. Preeti Murthy, President, WPP Media. Uday Jadhav, Chief Executive Officer, Sakal Media Group. And this session will be moderated by Shibu Shivanandan, Founder and Managing Director, Pivot Rules. I invite the wonderful panel and the moderator onto the stage. And as always, this is how we'll welcome them with a big round of applause.
Any leader, I think he should have a vision and he should have a strategy. And vision without strategy or strategy without vision doesn't work. So these two things actually, what I would say that he was very good in aligning all these things and very, very well. And all those big ideas he had, that any leader should have a big idea. And he should have a way to execute that.
I've had the opportunity to work with many leaders, many entrepreneurial leaders who've shaped this country as well. See, I think there are two things. A leader, of course, needs to have a vision, but I think the vision needs to be a shared vision that energizes the team, energizes the people, right? And I think most leaders that I've seen succeed is when they're able to actually touch emotionally. You may have your own preferences, you may have your own ideas, but if you're not able to get the emotional connect with the team, energize them, right? And that, I think, is what I see has been the success hallmark of many of the leaders that I've seen. And that's something that I try to personally emulate as well. I think it's very important that you have a vision, the vision gets shared, and you make the people around you believe in that vision, because at the end of the day, it's not your success, it's their success.
My cousin brother, my Masi's son, okay. So when he was in college, he wanted a two-wheeler bike for Bombay college bike. So his father gave a 3-4 hour lecture on how he grew up near Trivandrum, how he used to do 2 buses, or he used to sometimes walk one and skip a bus so that he can save money. He said, your problem, your father didn't give you money. Okay, now his son, my brother was buying a car and upgrading his car. His son gave a good lecture on what are you going to do, save that. I don't want your money, I want the car now. Why don't you, instead of this A car, why don't you buy a B car? So this is how the values shift. He says, don't keep for future. You live now, YOLO, FIFO, LOFO, all those jargons come out.
On the lighter note, though it is true, I'd like to say, we in Maharashtra say we normally do 4 mistakes in our life, or we did 4 mistakes. One, we spend a lot of money in the marriages. Then after the marriage, we normally buy our good flat, and we took loan for the paying the EMIs. Once we get good flat, we buy car, and if money left, we buy LIC policy. These are the normal mistakes we do. But when I look or interact with the new generations, they are very asset light. They want to, as you mentioned, they don't want to buy a flat. They want to be staying in the rental house. They don't want to buy car. They would like to prefer use Uber or Ola. They don't fall into the long-term relationship. That is also scary. But they are looking for the very short-term relationship, convenient relationship. But I think it's completely changed. They also changed their terminology. When I stress, sometimes I stress in the office, the Gen Z team comes to me and they ask me, are you stressed? When I say negative, they laugh at me. But we need to use the language also, that the terminology has completely changed. I think sometimes I face problem to deal with this new generation, new Gen Zs.
Dishantu medeva sadatvadiyaha dayataranga nuchara katakshaha Shrotreshu pumsam amritam ksharantim saraswatim samshrita kamadhenu. Hoi polloi, a very good afternoon to the audience that is gathered for the 6th season of this beautiful South India Media Summit. Every day, like any other day, today would have begun with a certain number. Wake up at 5 a.m., so the number 5 comes. Have breakfast at 6:30, 630 comes. What time did the session begin? 9:52. How many people were there? There were 3 panels, 5 members each, 4 plus 1. So everything is about number. How much ever we have liked, disliked, the prejudice that we have had for mathematics during school days or college days wouldn't stop us from appreciating the number that is credited as salary every month we see. So numbers is all that we have. So there's a very primary level, the way I take it. Every religion, every community has its own set of nice things to say. So from what I have bequeathed, from what I have learned, from what I have internalized are these teachings. So when we deal with Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma or the Vedic civilization, the way we call it, the way we perceive it, often the Western universities often call this religion polytheistic. We aren't polytheistic, we are polymorphic. We believe there is one truth that we see in various forms. So that we have always been a country that has relied and respected mathematics to the core. Even people who sit by the elevated platforms outside their traditional village houses called Tinnai are called Ganapati. Ganapati means people who calculate and recite Vedas. So Ganam means counting. And we have completely relied, else you wouldn't have beautiful temples constructed if people had no idea of what numbers were. So even our simple recipes are about 7-cup cake. So take this 1, take this 2, take this 3, take this 4. Right from food to mathematics to textiles to architecture, this country has relied so much on numbers.
Did you want this session to stop? There you go. That's how amazing it was. Thank you. And thank you for celebrating our wonderful culture and reminding all of us, from the food that we eat to the saris that we wear, there is so much richness in us that no other civilization, no other country can compete. Ladies and gentlemen, India is awesome. India is amazing. Thank you. Thank you so very much for reminding us about the richness of my beautiful country. Mohit Joshi, CEO of Havas Media Network India, a leading media agency in our country, and under his leadership, Havas Media Network India has evolved into an integrated powerhouse, aligning media, digital, data, technology, and content and yes, under one cohesive strategic vision. So can I invite Mr. Mohit Joshi onto the stage, affectionately known as Mojo, known for his Mojo selfies. Thank you. And also another stalwart joining this session. His multi-sector experience from FMCG to e-commerce to telecom broadcast gives him a broad view of consumer behavior, media trends, and what works where. He's known for pushing strategic, measured, and creative use of media, and not just run-of-the-mill campaigns. Put your hands together for Jai Kishan Chapru, Head Media and Brand PR, ITC.
Thank you, Mohit, and thank you, Jai Kishan. And thank you very, very much to my dear friend Shankar for organizing this magnificent South India Media Summit. At the start, I would like to say that I am very proud of my association with Fourth Dimension Media and with Shankar. And the way he puts the industry together, the way he's put all of you in one room is truly commendable. So I think we should have a round of applause for this fantastic man. And we're very proud of our association with Shankar. Thank you, Shankar. India Shining, was a slogan given in 2003-2004. Coined largely by Pramod Mahajan before the 2004 elections, which ended up being a bit of a flop show for the BJP in 2004. So now every time the opposition also says that they said India shining then, but the results were not shining for them. So when you talk about India shining, there's always a political angle to this. That, the government's trying to give a picture of India shining, but on the ground, things are not India shining. On the ground, things have not changed. On the ground, people are unhappy. And before every election in our country, there is a group of people who call themselves the limousine liberals. Some people from the media who have never gone outside Greater Kailash in Delhi. And before every election, they get onto their chartered planes, they travel around and they say, oh, we've seen the heat and dust of the country and things are not so good. This time I think BJP will lose. This time I think Rahul Baba will come as Prime Minister. So there's a context to that question. Now if I compare Mohit, it is not 10 years, it's actually therefore 21 years since that slogan of India Shining came. But things are vastly different today. In 2004, on the basis of very little achievement, there was a very big marketing claim that had been made by Pramod Mahajan, and he thought the country will get carried away with it, and unfortunately Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee gave him the freedom, do what you want kind of thing, and the BJP did not do it. The situation here is very different now. In 2004, yes, you had good growth. So that time also the argument is made, there was good growth then, but the BJP was voted out. There is good growth now, but it's not seeping onto the ground. The difference is in 2004, we had growth of about 6.7, 6.8%. Little marginally different from what it is now. But our inflation was technically 8.2%. Practically, if you would ask people, in 2004, it was almost in double digits of 10%. In this period, now we see the 2014 to 2024 period, I'm not talking of the present, the growth is 6.7, 6.8%. But the inflation is 5%, sometimes under 5%. So you cannot compare 2004 to 2025. I would say things are much better in Modi's India than it was in Vajpayee's India, in terms of for the people. Because Narendra Modi has done a lot of things which previous governments did not. You have stable economic growth. You have GST. You have GST rationalization. You have demonetization. You have UPI. But most importantly, Prime Minister Narendra Modi understood on day one the biggest problem in our country is we have a lot of money, it doesn't reach the people. So he did direct benefit transfer. So I feel there was an element of social reformation in what Narendra Modi was doing, and therefore I think he kept his focus on the domestic economy. It's not only a marketing focused campaign, and if you were to tell me therefore shining then compared to India shining now, I would say it's too much to say India shining, but India is far better in 2025 than it was in 2024, which is the reason why when people say, oh, will what happened in Nepal happen in India, will what happened in Bangladesh happen in India? Absolutely not. Some political parties will want that to happen in our country. But that deep level of personal dissatisfaction which exists in some of our neighbors is not there in India today. So I hope that's a broad answer to your specific question.
Absolutely
perfect.
A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I know you've been enjoying the sessions. Let me read the energy in the room. Over to you, Rejection sir.
Given that we have media experts sitting out here and marketeers sitting out here, given the current situation, the media landscape, the shift in viewership patterns, shift from appointment viewing, shift to watching short duration content. I think there are a lot of things that are happening, and I think this is amongst one of the better panels to kind of pose certain questions. And so let's kind of hear from the experts.
All right, if I may go, I think one of the core philosophies that, most of the agencies, and I'm talking here about us specifically, I think there is a shift between channel budget allocation to audience budget allocation. I don't think there is anything that is not available on digital, yet TV has its own charm. I believe there are fixed ad slots, and the reach is culminating very well. But the measurement, the getting your cohorts right, everything works very well in digital. So for us, it's an integration of screen agnostic planning that's working well. And if I were to keep my answer very short, we would rather be present where the audience is. It can be digital outdoor, it can be TV, it can be print, it can be online video, it could be short form, it could be influencer. Selection is just a function of this.
Coming to an advertiser now. So Mr. Nangopal, if you can help us understand, with the changing consumption trends, how finely are you slicing your media spends?
With the increasing influence of digital and of course the changing consumer behavior, we have also recalibrated our media investment. So if you look at, there's an ATL and there's a BTL angle to it. And if you look at the ATL side, where earlier, it was 80-20 skewed towards traditional media, today that has increasingly moved to 40-60 for us, for our line of products. And within the digital stream itself, we all know that digital is a very fragmented universe. So we kind of focus more on search, online video and social in that context. Now 40% is moving towards the BTL side. So that's because, we have a lot of push categories. And so on-ground activation becomes important. So if you look at it at an overall pie, it's a 60-40 ratio between ATL and BTL. And within ATL, the construct and breakup that I given. And that's how we're looking at it.
When it comes to completely buying, we are not buying anything which is like, we buy and then we fly away, right? So we buy and we continue to buy today, tomorrow, and again future. So we are actually reaching out to a consumer, right? Earlier days also we were doing the same thing. The method of doing was different than today's era. That's the very basic element of, today's advantage. As I said that, technology helps us to, drive anything that is impossible to a possible in today's world. And from a mindset point of view, of course, the upskilling is definitely an important thing. So I keep telling my own people that, it's like when somebody goes into an examination, when they score, 99 or 99.9%, and very next day they are getting into a job. And it doesn't mean they've learned everything completely, right? Their zero-based learning starts from the day one of their work. That's how that whenever any medium, any newer tech opportunity comes, that's what actually makes us to learn and to be paced up with it so that, we can actually make use of those platforms, keeping the principles and ethical guidelines and the brand safe guidelines intact. We go and actually, deliver the return for the brands. So I don't think so much of difference, what we have been doing it, but now we are doing it in a better, passionate way, and there are a lot of competition exists around us. If you blink your eyes, and maybe you will get vanished from this place. So you have to be awake and keep delivering. Your own benchmark becomes your own target for tomorrow. That's what it is.
Yeah, because one of the key challenges that one would anticipate coming on digital is also the fact that if there's something new coming in, there's no benchmark. Whereas, on television or print, you would always you will draw a parallel and have an analogy. On digital, it becomes completely difficult to kind of have a benchmark and then justify the rate that's coming in.
So my boss is sitting and laughing. When I said my own benchmark becomes my target, now he knows what target to give next year. He's sitting in the front seat and laughing.
You did also touch upon some interesting formats on your platform. So 2-3 questions were just kind of floating in my head. One is, what are the typical challenges you face with advertisers? Second is, how does one measure success on a platform like Truecaller? And maybe if you could just give some use case examples, whether it's in examples from India or abroad, it would definitely help understand how we can kind of partner with Truecaller as a platform.
My answer might be more than 1 minute, but...
I'm used to it.
Okay. So, I mean, that's a tricky question about the challenges we face. I'm in a room full with advertisers. I better be diplomatic about this one. But I'll just say that challenges happen when one interacts, and I think there are ways that we have found to overcome and move on. Challenges can also drive a certain amount of innovation, and that's exactly what happened with Truecaller ads. We took real feedback from our partners and built out our whole full stack solution offering to them. I mean, I quoted some numbers earlier about the kind of reach and scale that we have. So we were typically known as being a brand, like a mass or a branding format, and at scale. We then built this out into more offerings for middle, your consideration buckets, where you have innovative plays other than display to kind of, tell a story, tell a brand story, something we could refer to as Truecaller Play. And then we do have the lower end of the funnel as well, where brands have clear performance KPIs, and we have different buy models that also facilitate this. And I have to thank the advertisers for actually pushing us in that direction. And now they have a whole portfolio that they can choose from.
Thank you to the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be here in this esteemed, among this, esteemed audience. It's truly wonderful to be here. I work in Truecaller as the Director of Product Management. I lead the global ads product. So I and the team essentially obsess about creating ad products which not only fulfill the advertisers' objectives on the one hand, but also create really meaningful and impactful experiences for users. So Truecaller's mission is simple. The mission is to make communication safer, smarter, and more efficient. And if you think about it, this problem has never been as important, as ever before. 1 in every 3 phone calls that an average Indian receives is from outside the phone book. On an average, the Indian consumer receives 3 spam messages in a day. It is estimated that in just last year alone, upwards of 22,000 crores was lost in frauds and scams. So this is a large problem, and it's becoming even bigger, and Truecaller is on a mission to solve this. So if you think about it, trust is built very deeply into what Truecaller does, into how consumers use Truecaller on a daily basis, and how the kind of perception we're able to drive in the user's mind. And we do this with the help of our best-in-class solutions. The first is, of course, the caller ID, which helps you identify who's calling. We also have something called verified businesses, which is essentially to let you know if there are legitimate businesses trying to reach out to you. And then, of course, there's messaging or SMS. And now when we think about, talk about ads on Truecaller, like how does it all come together, right? there's a reason why more than 10,000 brands continue to work with Truecaller on the ad side on a continuous basis. And I spoke about trust. I think it goes back to trust. When you have that kind of a product, you have unparalleled reach. Like Althea spoke about this, in this panel. In the world, we have 450 million global users. In India, 300 million. And in South India, we have 75 million monthly active users. And it's not just that, it's also about the stickiness. So if you see our DAU to MAU ratio, it's upwards of 80%. That's right up there in terms of the best apps in the world. So not only do we have a very large base of users, they actually come back onto our app almost on a daily basis, which is phenomenal. And these numbers are right up there in terms of any benchmark that you can think of, in terms of the best media properties which are out there. So think of your IPL cricket season, think of your T20 World Cup, the numbers are right up there. But it's not just about reach, it's also about relevance. And relevance really has two parts to it. One is the fact that you're able to meaningfully cohort users. So for example, you're able to reach out to mothers, shoppers, travelers. And then there's also the context in which you're showing. And this is also one of the discussion points that came up in the last panel. So if you think about it, the attention span of users today is lower than ever. There are so many apps which are competing for attention, whether it's social, whether it's gaming, whether it's messaging. And here, Truecaller has a unique advantage. If you get a phone call, the attention level is at the highest. And it's also the most uncluttered screen. So it's relevance in terms of finding the right audience, but it's also relevance in terms of how your brand's message is placed on the screen in the context of the user. And when we do that, when you reach the relevant users in the relevant manner, we see that it drives results for businesses. Just 3 examples of how we've been able to drive impact among many.
And so we have a lovely panel here today who probably will decipher what CTV exactly means, what's the future of television, where is it going, and I hope we are able to create a thought-provoking session. So I'll start with a simple question and with the topic. So when you hear, CTV or future of television, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? And do you really believe this terminology, or you think it's just another fancy word from the ad tech world? So any one of you can answer.
Today, the homes our homes become a dual TV scenario, while the cable comes through the to the television. The remote functions as multiple options. So you have a hybrid box which helps you to view the regular broadcast content. At the same time, you also have an internet connected options loaded with apps and other options, which is of our convenience. So one side it is appointment viewing, on the other side it is apna time, prime time. That's it.
Anybody else want to take this up?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon all. This is Unnikrishnan here. I am from Asianet News. Princey, the good thing is that whether it is linear television or ZTV, end of the day, television exists. Television is going on. So like few years back, there was this narration that print is over, television is taken over, and now the recent past you have television is over, digital is taking over, right? But then the good news is that television in whatever format is there, it is going to continue. And as some of the previous things, the juice in television is still there, and it is only that we need to take it and drink. Whichever way it is, juice is there.
So do you think CTV is an evolved form of television?
Yes, of course. It's an evolved form of television. In both the format, linear TV and CTV, both is going to remain in the market, as Mr. Unnikrishnan told. This is not going to vanish off for the time being. Because if the statistics, if you take in India, India is the largest country in the world, which has got 89% of the digital penetration happened. And that too in Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, it is keep on increasing. The government's initiatives and everything helps all these digital formats to sustain and more number of viewers are going to increase. Likely he told print is not going to be finished and television also is not going to be finished. Everything will be remaining and going much more larger. And the kind of innovations with the AI supported and data oriented systems which is generating in the market, which helps customers like us wanted to reach to the right targets in whichever market lying. And the electronic goods penetration, if you take in another format, recently one article came, almost 90% gas cylinder has got penetrated into the rural market. Parallelly, all these things, electronic gadgets, is going to penetrate the Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, and that naturally will expand the scope of CTV as well as linear TVs also. So the future is much believed to be very strong.
Both are here to stay.
Yeah.
You want to add something, Sujata?
So I think, this is a change which is here to stay. If you look at the stats, CTV household has kind of doubled in last 2 years. We see that impact in ad spends as well. So I wouldn't say it is an evolution of television. It is a combination of television and digital, because you're not watching the same content that you watch on television. It's a different content that you are watching on CTV. So for the larger question, which is basically, linear TV and CTV, whether, are we going to write the obituary of linear TV? That time is, way too far. We are such a large country that, there is going to be both format or both forms of television consumption. However, having said that, linear TV is what is kind of witnessing an accelerated growth.
Only suggestion is, while pitching the client, both the teams have to come and pitch.
Both the TVs have to come and pitch?
Both the teams. There is the
channel
teams
have to come and pitch.
And the digital team.
Okay.
Together, if they come and pitch, client understanding will be. Because digital team always complains about TV. TV's performance. And they confuse the branded.
He is talking blatant
yes,
truth.
Totally.
Okay.
No.
So if it's the same organization, suppose for example, it's a bigger agency who have both digital and TV team, they both have to pitch together, give a proper solution. Digital works for, digital may not be, it is a new medium. It takes its own time to settle down. Okay. So you should have a proposal, or the team should explain to the management or the brand managers there, 80% or 30% should be digital, 70% should be TV. Some kind of a combo. Should be a combo.
But the way you're saying, I think it's a very ideal scenario, and I would love, I've been salesperson for a very long time, but unfortunately TV and the discussion around both the things is very different, because TV generally is taken, people think awareness. The moment it comes to digital, it's all about performance. So the journey becomes very different, but yes, completely feedback taken that.
TV is a mass medium, no doubt. It doesn't address
you think digital is not becoming a mass medium?
It doesn't address the right TG. It is throw in the air, TV. But digital, you have that option.
You have the option, yes.
You can hit whom you want to hit, or to that TG. So it should be a collaborative
Collaboration, absolutely. I totally agree.
Any innovations is always welcomed properly if it been explained by the media people to the clients. That's my only
Thank you so much. I think for all the salespeople, ad salespeople, if there are any, you should take this feedback, both offline and online teams. And thank you so much. I think it was a wonderful session. And again, the future of television is very, very bright.
Wow, wonderful to hear that. A big round of applause.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला केसरिया से
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा। MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my...
In February, you made a public claim that the Epstein client list was, quote, sitting on my desk right now for review, end of quote. You then produced already public information and no client list at a major media event hosted at the White House. Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my desk along with the JFK files, the Martin Luther King files. And I said I had not yet reviewed it. And if you see our memo on Epstein, you will see, our memo on Epstein clearly points out that there was no client list, our July 6th memo.
Going back to the Epstein files, according to another whistleblower who made a protected disclosure to my office, you pushed the FBI to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records on an arbitrarily short deadline in March, and the FBI was directed to flag any documents that mentioned President Trump. Nothing came of that review until July when DOJ and FBI released an unsigned memo stating, quote, there's no incriminating client list. Why was the July 7th memo unsigned?
The July 7th memo came from the FBI and the Department of Justice. Director Patel answered those questions very clear. And, you know, Senator Durbin, I find it very...
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ।
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा, आर प्योर मसाला।
Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my...
In February, you made a public claim that the Epstein client list was, quote, sitting on my desk right now for review, end of quote. You then produced already public information and no client list at a major media event hosted at the White House. Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my desk along with the JFK files, the Martin Luther King files. And I said I had not yet reviewed it. And if you see our memo on Epstein, you will see, our memo on Epstein clearly points out that there was no client list, our July 6th memo.
Going back to the Epstein files, according to another whistleblower who made a protected disclosure to my office, You pushed the FBI to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records on an arbitrarily short deadline in March, and the FBI was directed to flag any documents that mentioned President Trump. Nothing came of that review until July when DOJ and FBI released an unsigned memo stating, quote, "There's no incriminating client list." Why was the July 7th memo unsigned?
The
Cristiano Ronaldo has already written his name into football history with over 900 career goals across clubs and country. But as he continues to defy age and expectations, the burning question for our fans is, can Ronaldo reach the magical 1,000-goal mark before he finally hangs up his boots? That's the big debate on our sports meter today. Scan the QR code on your screen and have your say, because your vote decides the score.
थोड़े में ज़्यादा स्वाद ये ही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरी राजा।
Bliss. It dances on your skin like first rain. Experience bliss in all its forms with Hindware. Hindware, designed for bliss.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
Lashkar-e-Taiba's Deputy Chief Saifullah Kasuri, who is believed to be the mastermind behind the Pahalgam terror attack, has openly threatened Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a clip that is now going viral on social media. In the video, Kasuri can be seen praising Pakistan Army Chief General Asim Munir, referring to him as Field Marshal, requesting him to teach a lesson to PM Modi similar to the Pahalgam attack on May 10, 2025.
हम सतलुज के किनारे पर इस वक्त मौजूद हैं और ये दरिया सतलुज जो हिंदुस्तान से होता हुआ हमारे जिला कसूर से इसी इलाके से पाकिस्तान में दाखिल होता है। मुझे भी सैलाब के दिनों में ज्यादा वक्त सतलुज के किनारे पे सतलुज की लहरों में सतलुज की ऊपर चलने वाली कश्तियों और बेड़ों में ज्यादा वक्त गुजारने का मौका मिला है। और मैं खूब जानता हूं ये सतलुज में जो सैलाब आया है ये कुदरती सैलाब सारे का सारा नहीं था, ये मसनूई था, ये दुश्मन की अदावत थी, ये उसकी गुंडागर्दी थी, ये उसकी बदमाशी थी। और आज भी वो गीदड़ धमकियां लगाता है। 10 मई वो 2025 का 10 मई आज हिंदुस्तान भूल गया। हम कहते हैं अपने सिपाह सलार को, अपने फील्ड मार्शल को, आज का ये हजारों का मजमा, ये अपने फील्ड मार्शल को, अपने आर्मी चीफ को, पाकिस्तान के अजीम सिपाह सलार को हम सब मुतालबा करते हैं कि अभी एक मर्तबा फिर नरेंद्र मोदी की मुरम्मत की जरूरत मौजूद है। ये हालात का तकाजा मौजूद है। ये ऐसे बात नहीं आएगा, ये बातों से बात नहीं आने वाला। ये बड़ा सिर्फ इंसान है, दिन का सिर्फ इंसान है। इसके लबों को बेगुनाहों का खून चिमटा हुआ है। ये जब तक खून खाली न करे, लाशों को न गिराए, इंसानियत को न कर पाए, इसको
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Cristiano Ronaldo has already etched his name in football history with over 900 career goals across clubs and country. But as he continues to defy age and expectations, the burning question for fans is that can Ronaldo reach the magical 1,000 goal mark before he finally hangs up his boots? That's the big question on our sports meter today. Scan the QR on your screen and have your say, because your votes decide the score. Republic crew lands in Afghanistan, brings you detailed input as Pakistan and Afghanistan continue their clashes with high intensity. Afghanistan's government claims that at least 58 Pakistani soldiers were killed and over 30 injured in the clashes along the Durand Line in the last 48 hours. Afghanistan issues a stern warning to Pakistan, says we will not leave the attack unanswered. Taliban minister says Pakistan is harboring ISIS terrorists on its soil. Taliban government slams Pakistan's deep state for disturbance in Afghanistan. Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting this bulletin at 4 p.m. with fresh breaking news input coming in from Afghanistan, the only network reporting from ground zero. These are visuals after Pakistan closed the border crossings of Afghanistan following the clashes and exchange of fire between the two forces overnight, in which Kabul has claimed 58 lives of Pakistani soldiers. In the latest on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, is we have a picture access from today's Pakistani attacks in Kandahar. That's the latest escalation on the Afghanistan-Pakistan war alert in the last 24 hours, when Afghanistan is claiming that more than 58 Pakistani soldiers have been killed by Afghan forces along the Durand Line border. These are fresh visuals that Republic is accessing from ground zero from Kandahar, where Pakistan has reportedly once again struck Afghanistan. As the series of fire escalates between Pakistan and Afghanistan in the last 24 hours, we have seen high-intensity battles along the Durand Line, which is the formal border between the Pakistan and Afghanistan territories, which has a difference of perceptions. My colleague Chandrakala is joining us live on the broadcast with more details on this story. Chandrakala, what's the latest exclusive stills and images that we have accessed now from attacks, Pakistani attacks in Kandahar?
Well, absolutely. The strike still continues, and now that we have access picture from today's Pakistani attacks in Kandahar, we have seen we have seen the Afghan spokesperson Jabihullah also, of course, giving out a message to Pakistan that Pakistan has turned blind eye on ISIS. Of course, now that, and also has said that, has warned Pakistan to stop propagating. Of course, as far as terror elements is concerned, the Afghan spokesperson has made it clear in his press conference that Pakistan has turned blind eye, and that and the Afghan soil will not be used for cross-border terrorism. Now this retaliatory attacks, now also we have seen the Afghan foreign minister, who is on a visit in New Delhi, has condemned this attack, and of course has said that it wants good relations with Pakistan, and he definitely he don't want to answer when he was asked about the retaliatory attack that is taking place. He has no answer to that, but has come up with a statement that Pakistan and Afghanistan want good relation with each other, and now this particular the retaliatory attack between both the countries now continues. And of course, we have seen the Afghan spokesperson also giving out a statement warning Pakistan on this attack. Now, the Pakistan closed border crossings with Afghanistan following exchange of fire between the forces of the two countries overnight, in which Kabul claimed to have killed 58 Pakistani soldiers. So yes, a very, very grim situation right at this moment as far as the clashes are concerned. Now, the foreign minister, this comes at a time when the foreign minister, yes, Afghan foreign minister Muttaqi, is on a visit to New Delhi. This comes at a very, very crucial time when he is here in New Delhi to reset ties with India. So yes, a very crucial developments, and he has now cancelled his visit to Agra, and there are of course he is scheduled to meet the Afghan community here. But given the situation back in Kabul, he might, cut short his trip at this moment. When he was asked about this particular attack, he has no answer but saying that Afghanistan wants good relation with Pakistan and that, this continues and that he has also warned Pakistan about the situation. And we have also seen the Afghan foreign spokesperson, Jabihullah, giving out a strong message to Pakistan on this. And now we have accessed a picture from today's Pakistan attacks in Kandahar. So yes, the situation is really grim back in Kabul right at this moment. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Chandrakala, for tracking those developments. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the latest skills coming in from Kandahar there, where visuals are now of a strike. Meanwhile, more breaking news inputs are coming in on Republic, which is the only network, ladies and gentlemen, that is reporting from on ground now. Sources are telling Republic that in Helmand and in Kandahar, in the south part of Afghanistan, Pakistani drones have carried out airstrikes in the border areas, particularly in Behramcha and in Spin Buldak. One source to Republic has also said that these strikes took place in Spin Boldak at around 11:30 a.m. this morning on Sunday, that is October 10th. And some other sources have also told Republic that these strikes in Spin Boldak have not just targeted, ladies and gentlemen, military infrastructure, but have also attacked civilians in residential areas in addition to military positions, and that there have been no casualties so far is the input that Republic is receiving from ground zero in Afghanistan at the moment. But the latest series of escalation is that in southern Afghanistan, along the Durand line in bordering areas in Kandahar and in Helmand, Chandrakala, my colleague, continues to remain live with us. Chandrakala, in Helmand and in Kandahar, now information coming in of drone strikes and even potential targeting of civilian areas by the Pakistan armed forces there. No casualties being reported so far. What's the latest that you are picking up on this story, Chandrakala?
Well, of course, the sources are saying that, sources in Helmand and Kandahar in the south of the country say that Pakistani drones have now carried out airstrikes, or retaliatory airstrikes in the border areas of Behramcha and Spin Boldak. One source is of the view that said that the airstrike took place in Spin Boldak at 11:30 a.m. Today, that's October 10th. Some other sources are of the view that in Spin Boldak, drones have attacked civilian residential areas in addition to military positions, but there have been no casualties so far.
Yes.
Right at this moment, when the diplomatic, of course, we see that India and Kabul are on the verge of resetting ties. The foreign minister is on a visit, and now, of course, Pakistan is not keeping quiet. This particular visit must have irked Pakistan to an extent that this is happening right at this moment. So we continuously track this development right at this moment, and we have seen the Afghan spokesperson today during the presser has also sent out a message to Pakistan that Pakistan has turned blind eye as far as terror elements are concerned. So yes, a very, very important development right at this moment. And strikes continue. Of course, the situation at the border is not really good. And of course, the Afghan foreign minister is in Delhi. He is continuously monitoring the situation. He might cut short his trip to India. So a very, very crucial development. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Chandrakala, for bringing us those details, ladies and gentlemen. The Afghan foreign minister, Amir Muttaqi, is also in India. As you all know, he's on a 6-day visit. So far, indications are that he may or may not cut short his visit, but he is in New Delhi at the moment. He also had a second press conference earlier today. And here's a soundbite of what he has said about Pakistani drone strikes carrying out unabated in Kandahar and Helmand. Listen in to the reaction of the Afghan foreign minister from earlier today.
पाकिस्तान के साथ हमारे ताल्लुकात का एक चीज़ वाज़ेह करना चाहता हूँ कि पाकिस्तान का आवाम और पाकिस्तान का जो सियासून है और हुकूमत में भी अक्सर लोग जो है वो अमन पसंद लोग हैं, वो अफ़गानिस्तान के साथ अच्छा ताल्लुकात चाहता है। पाकिस्तानी आवाम और पाकिस्तानी सियासून के साथ हमारा कोई मुश्किल नहीं है। पाकिस्तान में कुछ ख़ास हलके हैं जो हालात को ख़राब करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, तो अफ़गानिस्तान अपना सरहदों का, अपना फ़ज़ा का हक़ महफूज रखे और जैसा कुछ खिलाफ वर्जियाँ हुआ है उसके फ़ौरन जवाब भी दिया। और फिर रात जो इंतकामी ऑपरेशन हुआ तो उसमें हमारा जो हदफ और मतलूब था वो हासिल हुआ। फिर हमारे दोस्त ममालिक जैसा कतर और सऊदी अरबिस्तान उन्होंने ख्वास्ता, उन्होंने तलब किया कि अभी जंग रुकना चाहिए, तो हमारे तरफ से जंग रुका हुआ और अभी हालात कंट्रोल में हैं। तो हम अच्छा ताल्लुकात चाहते हैं, हम मुज़ाकरात के दरवाजे हमारा खुला है सबके लिए। हम अफ़गानिस्तान में अमन लाया है, हम सारे खित्ते के अमन चाहता है। तो ये एक बेहतरीन फुर्सत आया है कि सब मसाइल मुज़ाकरे और मुफाहमे के रास्ते से हल होना चाहिए। सारे लोग मुत्तहिद हैं और इमारत का साथ खड़ा है। तो इमारत का जो पॉलिसी है वो ये है कि पहले तो मुज़ाकरा और मुफाहमा से सब के सब मुश्किलात हल करना चाहता है। हम ज़ीरो टेंशन के तरफदार हैं और अगर और नहीं चाहता है तो फिर अफगानिस्तान के पास और रास्ते भी है।
And ladies and gentlemen, just as Afghan's foreign minister sitting in New Delhi has launched a scathing attack on Pakistan, we are getting breaking news input that Pakistani Army Chief General Asim Munir, Field Marshal now, Asim Munir is visiting the Afghan border areas following fresh clashes between Taliban and Pakistani forces. Now the Pakistani Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir is visiting the bordering areas between Afghanistan and Pakistan despite the Taliban's announcement of a halt of attacks. Now, local sources in Pakistan are telling us that the Pakistan Army has continued its attack and is continuing its targeted drone attacks in areas of southern Afghanistan, particularly in Spin Buldak, in Kandahar, in Behramcha, in Helmand. We just showed you the visuals earlier, just a few seconds ago, of the plumes of smoke rising in Kandahar. And now we are getting latest breaking reports on border tensions between the two countries intensifying. And now even Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir going to the conflict-hit parts. My colleague Chandrakala continues to remain live with us, who has been tracking details on this story. Chandrakala, now Field Marshal Asim Munir rushing to the bordering areas where they are trying to establish air superiority over the Afghan Taliban, and unabated drone strikes are continuing despite calls for de-escalation from the Afghan side following a very fierce retaliation. What is this entire visit supposed to signal? What are you picking up, Chandrakala?
Well, a very important visit right at this moment, and the Pakistani Army Chief is now visiting the Afghan border following fresh clashes between Taliban and Pakistani forces, where this sends out a very, very important message. Of course, now Afghanistan has asked for ending this particular clash, but yes, of course, Pakistan continues to retaliate. Now, the Pakistani Army Chief has visited the border areas of the two countries despite the Taliban's announcement of a halt to attacks. Local sources are of the view that Pakistani Army has continued its attacks and its drones targeted areas in Spin, Boldak, Kandahar and Helmand today. Now, border tension has intensified between both the countries in recent weeks, and concerns have absolutely grown about the spread of this conflict. Now, we have seen the Afghan foreign minister also from the soil of, from here in New Delhi, has sent out a strong message to Pakistan. Although he has said that it wants a good relation with Pakistan, but also warned Pakistan to not continue with its terror elements. So a very, very strong message being put out. Although Afghanistan has announced to halt this attack, but the Pakistani Army Chief has now visited Afghan border to take stock of the situation, and the Pakistani Army continues to attack Afghanistan in different border areas of Afghanistan. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Chandrakala, for tracking all those details for us. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, more breaking news updates are coming in from West Asia, where concerns are rising over the Afghan and Pakistan situation. West Asian nations have now expressed concern over the rising tensions along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. In fact, they are urging both sides to show restraint and resolve dispute through dialogue. The Qatari Foreign Ministry statement is calling for diplomacy and de-escalation in the interest of regional peace and stability. And here's what's happening in West Asia. Even if they are looking at the Israel-Hamas situation, concerns are now high over Pakistan and Afghanistan.
The Afghan forces' multi-front operation has delivered a crushing blow to the Pakistan military. resulting in mass casualties of the Pakistani soldiers, military establishment, infrastructure, outposts, and weapons. The Afghanistan-Pakistan border witnessed a massive escalation in tensions as Afghan forces launched a full-blown retaliation against Pakistan days after unprovoked airstrikes in Kabul and other Afghan cities. The escalating tensions have prompted regional concern. Iranian Minister of Foreign Affairs Abbas Araghchi has called on his country's two neighbors to exercise restraint. Qatar has raised alarm over the situation, urging both sides to prioritize dialogue, diplomacy, and restraint, and to work towards containing differences in a manner that helps reduce tension and avoid escalation in order to achieve regional security and stability. The Saudi Arabian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has issued a statement urging both Pakistan and Afghanistan to keep self-restraint to avoid further escalation. The kingdom calls for self-restraint, avoiding escalation, and embracing dialogue and wisdom, which will contribute to reducing tension and maintaining the security and stability of the region, the statement said. As tensions simmer, the message overall is clear. As Pakistan and Afghanistan trade blame across a fragile border, the international community is urging restraint and dialogue.
Well, that's the latest coming in from West Asia. Meanwhile, the Indian Armed Forces are also showing their might and preparedness. In a major show of India's future warfighting capabilities, the Northern Command has launched exercise Vidyudh with Once, a high-tech tri-services military drill combat testing readiness beyond conventional battlefields. The focus of multi-domain operations is under the lens. Scanning spaces, cyber, electromagnetic and cognitive warfare is the main focus of this operation. Troops from the Army, the Navy and the Air Force along with the national agencies are integrating niche technologies together along with AI tools and next generation systems to stimulate future wars. The exercise underscores India's thrust on jointness, innovation and of course, Atmanirbharta, sharpening the force's edge on the battlefields of tomorrow. Here's a detailed report on what this exercise is all about.
Warfare is no longer confined to land, air, or sea. Today's battlefield extends across space, cyber, cognitive, and other domains. The Indian Armed Forces embrace multi-domain operations, where all forces operate with synergy, incorporating other national agencies for a unified and decisive response. In the digital battle space, cyber warriors defend the nation's data sovereignty. Electronic warfare units dominate the spectrum, disrupting enemy networks, securing ours. Jointness, integration, and innovation form the backbone of future warfare. Every sensor, every shooter, every soldier, connected, aware, and decisive.
After 30 years of tourist trips, a famed pirate ship based on Christopher Columbus's vessel has sunk off the coast of Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. The iconic Marigalante, which is constructed entirely out of wood, rapidly sunk on Friday after a systems failure. Here's what happened in Mexico.
A replica of Christopher Columbus's Santa Maria sank off the coast of Puerto Vallarta after 30 years of tourist trips. The ship, known as Marigalante, was built in 1987 and officially launched in 1992 to commemorate the 500th anniversary of Columbus's arrival in the Americas. According to the company, the entire crew was evacuated safely before the ship went down and no tourists were on board at the time. Constructed entirely of wood, it had become an icon of the port, ferrying tourists to give a glimpse of the pirate life at sea. The vessel was famous for its pirate show, which featured acrobatics, sword fights, and fireworks. The company that owned the iconic ship said that the incident occurred as the crew was attempting to return to port to carry out technical repairs. The system malfunction worsened and the ship began to slowly submerge into the waters that had been its home for more than 3 decades. Strong waves in the area intensified the emergency, complicating efforts and leading to the total sinking of the ship. In a statement, the ship company emotionally said that the Marigalante rests in the waters that were always her home, and she will forever remain alive in the memory and hearts of all who watched her sail. On the other hand, the company announced that the Marigalante's sister ship will arrive in the bay to continue its legacy of history. The new vessel is expected to be operational in the Banderas Bay within 3 months.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा।
Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my...
In February, you made a public claim that the Epstein client list was, quote, sitting on my desk right now for review, end of quote. You then produced already public information and no client list at a major media event hosted at the White House. Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my desk along with the JFK files, the Martin Luther King files, and I said I had not yet reviewed it. And if you see our memo on Epstein, you will see, our memo on Epstein clearly points out that there was no client list, our July 6th memo.
Going back to the Epstein files, according to another whistleblower who made a protected disclosure to my office, you pushed the FBI to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records on an arbitrarily short deadline in March, and the FBI was directed to flag any documents that mentioned President Trump. Nothing came of that review until July when DOJ and FBI released an unsigned memo stating, quote, there's no incriminating client list. Why was the July 7th memo unsigned?
The July 7th memo came from the FBI and the Department of Justice. Director Patel answered those questions very clear. And, you know, Senator Durbin, I find it very interesting that you refused repeated Republican requests to release the Epstein flight logs in 2023 and 2024. You fought that. Did you take money from Reid Hoffman, campaign donations, who was a huge Epstein friend? Why did you fight for years? Why did you fight to not disclose the flight logs, Senator Durbin?
I can tell you I did not refuse. One of the senators here wished to produce those logs, and I asked her to put it in writing, and she never did.
Yeah, I think Senator Blackburn would quarrel with you on that. But
I
that's
will
up to the
quarrel
two
with
of you.
as to read somebody that you mentioned I never heard of.
Cristiano Ronaldo has already written his name into football history with over 900 career goals across clubs and country. But as he continues to defy age and expectations, the burning question for our fans is, can Ronaldo reach the magical 1,000-goal mark before he finally hangs up his boots? That's the big debate on our sports meter today. Scan the QR code on your screen and have your say, because your vote decides the score.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my...
In February, you made a public claim that the Epstein client list was, quote, sitting on my desk right now for review, end of quote. You then produced already public information and no client list at a major media event hosted at the White House. Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my desk along with the JFK files, the Martin Luther King files. And I said I had not yet reviewed it. And if you see our memo on Epstein, you will see, excuse me, our memo on Epstein clearly points out that there was no client list, our July 6th memo.
Going back to the Epstein files, according to another whistleblower who made a protected disclosure to my office, you pushed the FBI to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records on an arbitrarily short deadline in March, and the FBI was directed to flag any documents that mentioned President Trump. Nothing came of that review until July, when DOJ and FBI released an unsigned memo stating, quote, there's no incriminating client list. Why was the July 7th memo unsigned?
The July 7th memo came from the FBI and the Department of Justice. Director Patel answered those questions very clear. And, you know, Senator...
Republic crew lands in Afghanistan, brings you detailed inputs as Pakistan and Afghanistan clash intensify. Afghanistan government claims at least 58 Pakistani soldiers were killed, over 30 injured in clashes along the Durand line. Afghanistan issues stern warning to Pakistan, says we will not leave any attack unanswered. Taliban minister says Pakistan is harboring ISIS terrorists on its soil. Taliban government slams Pakistan's deep state for disturbance in Afghanistan. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up next week on Republic Media Network is one of India's biggest thought leadership conclave, the Republic Bharat Rashtra Sarvopari Sammelan. Our theme this year is Atmanirbhar Shaktishali Bharat. Join us as we bring together voices from politics, culture, defense, spirituality and enterprise, all united by one vision. Next week on October 15 at Republic Media Network headquarters from 9:30 a.m. in the morning. Be there. Meanwhile, breaking news updates coming in, ladies and gentlemen, on the situation that's happening between Pakistan and Afghanistan. 58, that's the number. 58 Pakistani soldiers have been killed at the border clashes between Afghan forces along the Durand line, and the Taliban government has now made it very clear that attacks from Islamabad will not go unanswered. Republic's crew has landed in Afghanistan, and we bring you the detailed report from the ground, the only network in the entire nation reporting from ground zero in Afghanistan. Take a look.
Jai Hind, ladies and gentlemen, and this is an undisclosed location somewhere near the Kunar province, and there is another province called Nangarhar. So these are making the bulge. So I am at somewhere near a province called Kunar, and as you can see, this is a area which is adjoining the Pakistan's Gilgit-Baltistan area, and a huge number of Taliban fighters have started their infiltration from the Kunar province. And as you can see from my right, you can see a little entrant from there. So that is one of the locations where there has been a lot of activity and entering into the forested areas beyond this ridge into Gilgit-Baltistan. And one of the major reasons why this area has been selected by the Taliban to ramp up their operations is because of its mountainous features. There is also vegetation onto the other side of the ridge, which accommodates to getting cover. So basically what has happened is there is a bulge which is from Nangarhar and to the Kunar province. So this bulge is actually giving the advantage to Taliban for attacking the Pakistani posts, and they are at a vantage point, so they have advantage for infiltration and spreading their resources and attack in the Kunar province. So if we tactically see, the Kunar province is adjoining POK, that is Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and with the unrest which has been taking place in Gilgit-Baltistan, so it is imperative that there can be some connection between the freedom fighters in Gilgit-Baltistan and the Taliban fighters. So it is a matter of great concern that if this conflict increases, it is going to cause a lot of ramifications, a lot of geopolitical issues. And one of the main issues that the Taliban has been facing is most of their posts are made up of shelters. So these shelters are basically fiber reinforced plastic and metal sheets. So most of them have been destroyed by the Pakistan forces, and whereas the Pakistan posts are concerned, they are fortified, they are cemented, but they are isolated. That is the advantage that the Taliban is taking and doing the infiltration surrounding these posts. And since last 3 days, they have inflicted a lot of casualties and have destroyed large part of these posts, which are now rendered unserviceable and cannot be guarded or occupied by the Pakistan forces. So this is the situation which is unfolding in the northwest border of the Taliban and the Pakistan forces, which has been taking place. Yes, the Taliban is on the back foot at few locations, at Helmand and few more provinces, where Pakistanis are using night vision thermal enabled drones for attacking Taliban, who are trying to tactically place their positions to counter and to surround the hostile Pakistan forces. And as far as the Hepta incursions are concerned, they are regular and they increase with the frequency after 8 in the evening. So it is imperative that the attack Heptas and the drones that the Pakistan forces are using are enabled with night fighting capability and high caliber weapons. And at the moment, the Taliban has the firepower, but they do not have anti-aircraft weapon systems. So probably that is what is holding them back. But at night, they avoid moving right now at the moment. They prefer moving during day, because at night it is really becoming difficult for the Taliban to move in towards the Konar border and expand its operation into Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. This is Major Samar signing off from an undisclosed location near Konar. Thank you.
Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, a big breaking news update is coming in from Pakistan, where the ISPR, the Inter-Services Public Relations of Pakistan's ISI, is now admitting to Pakistani casualties along the Durand line after fighting the Afghan Taliban. They say that the Afghan Taliban and Khawarij, Fitna al-Khawarij, has launched an unprovoked attack on Pakistan along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border last evening. And now the ISPR is admitting that 23 soldiers of Pakistan have embraced what they call Shahadat while defending the territorial integrity of their nation against the actions that also led to 29 soldiers being injured. So now big statement coming in from Pakistan's DG ISPR that Pakistan is admitting finally to 23 fatal casualties in the border skirmish with Afghanistan. 29 soldiers also injured. So big numbers coming in. Pakistan slowly but surely admitting that it is bleeding on the Durand line. The Afghan-Pak border is operationalized and it is bleeding on there. 23 Pakistani soldiers have lost their lives is what the ISPR is admitting. 29 injuries. Ladies and gentlemen, the number that we are putting out is well over 50. But Pakistan now finally admitting that it is losing blood on the front lines. My colleague Gursimran joins us live on the broadcast with more details on this story. Gursimran, finally, the DG ISPR admitting 23 fatal casualties. What's the latest that you're picking up?
See, it's almost 16 hours after the skirmish that has taken place on the Afghan-Pakistan border. ISPR has finally broken the silence and has come out with the statement in which they have tried to put the onus as usual, the rhetoric that every time DG ISPR follows. This time also ISPR press note that has been issued trying to blame it on India and Afghanistan, saying that these Khwarij, that is the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan terrorists, they are trying to enter from the Afghan soil into the Pakistan territory, and they were planning to launch a major assault on Pakistan that was averted as being claimed by ISPR. But one major thing that has come out of this is that ISPR has for the first time has admitted the casualties that have taken place. They have said that the total number of casualties is 42, out of which, if we speak of the 52, out of which the fatal casualties is 23 and the non-fatal casualties are 29. So this takes the total number somewhere close to the casualties that have been claimed by the Zabiullah Mujahid when he was addressing the press conference this afternoon in Kabul. So the numbers of the fatal casualties have now been accepted. 23 fatal casualties have been accepted by the Pakistani army, which clearly shows that the magnitude and the attack that was carried out, the retaliatory strikes that have been carried out by the Afghanistan Defense Forces, that was way higher than Pakistan has expected. Though Pakistan in its statement has claimed that they have been managed to capture some of the posts of Afghanistan, but it also mentions a word that it was briefly captured, physically captured briefly for a short while. So this is also something that is being said by the DGISPR in its handout that has been released, and also some of the videos, a 7-minute long video has also been released by the DGISPR claiming that they have done extensive damage to the installations of the Afghan Defense Forces. But and also one more thing that they have claimed, the number of the casualties on the adversary side, they have said that it is more than 200. On ground, what it seems that the claims that are being made by the DGISPR, they are somewhat far from the reality, but at least what is the major proportion of this handout is that Pakistan has admitted the casualties to the Afghan side, because what they are terming as a terror attack that has been admitted by the Afghan, that it was their armed forces that have carried out an assault as a retaliatory strike to the Pakistani aggression that has taken place earlier this week, when we saw Pakistan carrying out airstrikes in the garb stating that it was aimed at the leadership of Taliban Pakistan, but it could not actually fetch some good results for Pakistan.
Thank you so much, Gursimran, for tracking those details. Ladies and gentlemen, the ISPR finally admitting mass casualties along the Afghan border. Meanwhile, let me take you back to what exactly happened 48 hours ago when Afghanistan's Taliban government accused Pakistan on Friday of conducting airstrikes on its land, particularly in the capital city of Kabul, and warned of consequences. Now, these accusations came as Islamabad had claimed that it was taking action against the Taliban Pakistan. According to Pakistani security officials, 11 more Pakistani soldiers had earlier been confirmed, and now subsequently we are getting more information that the ISPR has admitted 23 more fatalities in the clashes. The overall number is looking at over 50. Now, in the Tira area near the Afghan-Pak border, where the tensions were particularly also very high, Islamabad is now asserting that Taliban Pakistan is operating from Afghan soil, and Kabul is continuing to deny the charge and threatening even more retaliation if Pakistani aggression continues. Here's a detailed report of the account what happened 48 hours ago.
Ferocious escalation of violence along the Afghanistan-Pakistan border was not a mere spontaneous flare-up. It was the immediate and brutal fulfillment of an explicit threat of revenge issued by Kabul in response to Islamabad's aggressive cross-border actions. The current conflict is rooted in a deadly cycle. Earlier, the Pakistani military announced that its forces had avenged the killing of 11 soldiers by ambushing and killing 30 militants, elements often accused of operating from Afghan soil in the Orakzai district. However, the subsequent alleged Pakistani airstrikes on the Afghan capital of Kabul and Paktika province were what broke the barrier of direct hostility. Immediately following the explosions in Kabul, which were widely attributed to the Pakistani military, the Afghan Defense Ministry issued an unambiguous public condemnation. The ministry condemned the action as an unprecedented, violent, and provocative act that violated Afghanistan's sovereignty and warned of serious repercussions. The threat was specific and unequivocal. This cowardly attack will not go unanswered, and if the situation escalates, the responsibility will be of the Pakistani military. This official warning was swiftly followed by a high-alert decree from the highest levels of the Islamic Emirate. In a move signaling full military readiness, Taliban chief Mullah Akhundzada reportedly released a statement asking soldiers to be on guard 24/7 and ordering all province chiefs to patrol at night. This command served as the public mobilization order, preparing Afghan forces to execute the promised revenge. Within hours, the Taliban operationalized their threat. The Afghanistan's 201st Khalid bin Walid Army Corps launched full-scale retaliatory strikes on Pakistani outposts in Nangarhar and Kunar. The results of the swift offensive, which rapidly escalated to artillery exchanges across Kunar, Dangam, Burkot, and Paktia delivered the threatened consequences. The Afghan Defense Ministry claims that Taliban Islamic Emirate forces captured several outposts from the Pakistan army. In Khost's Zazi Maidan area, Afghan border guards cut the border fence wire and seized multiple Pakistani posts, capturing military weapons in the process. Reports confirm mass casualties on the Pakistani side, with initial tallies claiming at least 8 Pakistani soldiers were killed in the intense clashes. Afghan forces also reportedly destroyed 2 Pakistani outposts across the Durand line in Kunar and Helmand provinces. The ongoing border fighting is thus framed not merely as a security incident, but as a direct, promised act of revenge following a clear diplomatic warning.
Shifting our focus now to some more breaking inputs coming in from the national capital of Delhi, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with farmers from across the country as he participated in a special Krishi program at the ICAR Indian Agricultural Research Institute in New Delhi yesterday. The farmers say that Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana PMMSY is a very big hope for startup farmers, particularly leaning towards pisciculture. Listen in to this report.
मैं सरायकेला में हाथीमारा गांव में वहाँ पे 125 गरीब जनजाति और हो जाति फैमिली को अडॉप्ट कर लिया और वहाँ पे मेरा इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग का हमने आयाम चालू।
आपकी पढ़ाई भी इसमें हुई या पहले से कहीं ट्रेनिंग ली, कैसे मन कर गया इसमें?
सर आप मेरे आदर्श रहे।
अरे भाई
आपने देश को आह्वान किया था कि जॉब सीकर की जगह पे जॉब गिवर बनो। पूरी दुनिया में टाटा स्टील अपना प्रोडक्ट बेचती है, मेरे प्रोडक्ट को टाटा स्टील बेचती है।
वाह
जी मैं सखी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से जुड़ी हूँ और हमारा सफर 20 महिलाओं से शुरू होकर आज 90,000 महिलाएं
90,000
जी सर 90,000 महिलाएं काम कर रही हैं और वो दूध बेचकर एक अच्छी इनकम ले रही हैं और हमने आज तक 14,000 प्लस लखपति दीदियाँ भी बनाई हैं।
आप तो सर मेरे कल बता रही हो।
मेरा बस यहाँ अच्छा फिशिंग बोट है, मच्छी वाला हूँ। अभी आपका स्कीम का वजह से प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य संपदा योजना स्कीम का वजह से आइस प्लान भी हुआ, कोस्टर जी हुआ।
कितने लोग काम करते हैं आपके साथ?
मेरे साथ काम करते हैं 100 लोग काम करते हैं।
अच्छा, और भी ऐसे लोग हैं जिनको ये विचार आता है?
जी सर, इन लोग अभी दूसरा लोग अभी अंडमान जो पहले हम लोग जो ठीक से हम लोग को ये फिशिंग बोट जाने नहीं सकता सर। आपका स्कीम का प्रधानमंत्री मत्स्य संपदा योजना स्कीम का वजह से अभी बोट भी चल रहा है, अभी आइस भी मिल रहा है सर, यहाँ मच्छी रखने का जगह भी मिलता है सर। मैं कश्मीर से आ रहा हूँ। मैंने एक प्रोग्राम के जरिए आपकी स्कीम के बारे में सुना PMMSY, तो वहाँ पे जाके मैं उससे मशगूल हुआ तो मैंने ये कल्चर स्टार्ट किया 3 रेसे से। मेरे अभी 14 एम्प्लॉयज है, 14 एम्प्लॉयज है और 15 लाख का मेरा मुनाफा हो रहा है साल भर का। बहुत अच्छा मार्केट मिल रहा है और इसके साथ औरों को भी फायदा मिल रहा है।
अब तो ये ट्रेन से भी आपका गुड़ जा रहा है तो बहुत जल्दी से आपकी चीजें पहुँचेगी।
बहुत ज्यादा डेवलपमेंट हो रही है, वो तो आपकी वजह से हो रही है और मुझे नहीं लग रहा कि ये सब चीजें किसी और प्राइम मिनिस्टर की वजह से
नहीं, जम्मू कश्मीर के नौजवानों में बहुत ताकत है भाई।
कश्मीर में आपके दौरान, आपकी हुकूमत के दौरान, गवर्नमेंट के दौरान हुई है।
Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, a lot more is making news across Bharat. Let me take you through all those updates in the next 2 minutes. Here's a Bharat in 2. The Bharatiya Janata Party on Sunday has announced names of 3 candidates for the upcoming Rajya Sabha elections in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. The party has named Dr. Ali Mohammad Mir, Rakesh Mahajan and Satyapal Sharma as its candidates. The polls for the 4 Rajya Sabha seats are set to be held An accused in the alleged gang rape case of a teenage girl in Lucknow sustained injuries in an encounter with the Uttar Pradesh police, while another accused has been arrested. According to Deputy Commissioner of Police Nipun Agarwal, the accused injured has been identified as Lalit Kashyap. The second accused with Kashyap has made the run successfully, while a third has been arrested and has been involved in incidents which is now under further investigation.
एक लड़की के साथ कुछ व्यक्तियों द्वारा दुष्कर्म करा गया। इसमें तत्काल ही पुलिस ने उस पीड़िता के पिता की तहरीर पर नामजद अभियुक्तों के विरुद्ध अभियोग पंजीकृत कर लिया था एवं इनकी गिरफ्तारी हेतु हमने कई टीम्स बना रखी थी। हरौनी रेलवे स्टेशन के पास जब पुलिस पिकेट लगा के चेकिंग कर रही थी, तभी वहीं से बाइक सवार दो अज्ञात व्यक्ति वहां से गुजर रहे थे। जब पुलिस ने उनको रोकने के लिए बोला तो उन्होंने पुलिस पे फायरिंग कर दी। इसमें आत्मरक्षार्थ हेतु पुलिस ने उन पर फायरिंग करी, जिसमें कि एक व्यक्ति घायल हो गया।
The Bengal police have arrested 3 accused in connection with the alleged gang rape of a medical student from Odisha in Durgapur. According to the medical student's father, she had stepped out with her classmate to get something to eat. However, when 2 or 3 men arrived, her classmate fled and she was raped. Earlier on Saturday, the student was reported to be in stable condition in her recovery.
Three persons arrested and they have been forwarded to court today, and further investigation is on. Everything is going according to all the protocol. All investigation is taking place.
Minister of State for External Affairs in India, Kirtiwardhan Singh, to represent India at the India Middle East Peace Summit titled in Sharm el-Sheikh. Peace Summit, which is going to be chaired jointly by US President Donald Trump and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, more breaking news details coming in on the Afghan-Pakistan war. Now, Taliban has claimed to have captured Pakistani checkpoints. The groups have forced captured more than 40 Pakistani border checkpoints along the Durand line on Sunday evening, killing at least 58 Pakistani soldiers. That's the big breaking news update coming in. Zabihullah Mujahid, a spokesman for the Taliban administration, has described the operation as revenge and has added that 9 Taliban affiliates were also killed, with several others wounded in the clash. The Taliban's claim comes as border tensions between Afghanistan and Pakistan have escalated in recent months, particularly in the last 24 to 48 hours, leading to repeated exchanges of fire between the two sides. Now, the Durand Line is the main official border between Afghanistan and Pakistan, which has seen various points of contention and now various checkpoints, at least 40 by the count of the Taliban, have been captured. Gursimran, my colleague, joins us with latest details on this story. Gursimran, more details coming in of Afghan forces capturing critical border checkposts and Pakistani posts along the Durand Line. What's the latest you're picking up?
Yes, as per the statement that has been issued by the Afghan government through its spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid, the government has said that they have captured some 40 critical checkposts that were there on the Durand line. They have been captured by Afghan after they carried out the retaliatory strikes on Pakistan. These strikes were in response to the Pakistan's act in which they carried out the airstrikes in Kabul, where we saw that it was intent to target Noor Wali, the leader of Taliban-Pakistan, but they have failed completely and there was no damage to any of the leadership or infrastructure of the Taliban-Pakistan that day. But that very given day, the statement has come from the Taliban that they reserve the right to respond to the sovereignty of Afghanistan, and they have done so. Now, if we go by the number of casualties to the on-side, DGISPR has come out with the total number of casualties close to 52, out of which 23 are fatal. While if we speak of the casualties to the Afghan side, Afghan government has said that they have some 20 casualties, out of which some are fatal and some are non-fatal. So the number of casualties speaks of the volumes that Pakistan was never prepared for this magnitude of strikes or retaliatory action by Afghanistan, and Afghans have taken Pakistan by complete surprise. That has led to many of their critical checkposts going to the hands of Afghan, because see what Afghan Afghans have said that they have captured these points. But when it comes to the GG ISPR, they have said that they had briefly physical control over these posts. So that is very clear that Pakistan do not have the control over any of the locations that they had. But if we speak of the Afghan, they are having control over 40 critical points.
Thank you so much, Goswami, for tracking those details. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the latest coming in now. Afghan Taliban is claiming that they have captured more than 40 posts along the Turan line on the Afghan-Pak border. That's it for this edition of Live and Breaking, ladies and gentlemen. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back after a very short break. On the other side is a very special edition of the legal side of things with our senior executive editor, Ridhamanand Bharadwaj. Stay tuned.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
Bliss. It dances on your skin like first rain. Experience bliss in all its forms with Hindware. Hindware, designed for bliss.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा प्योर मसाला।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरी राजा, सबका राजा प्योर मसाला।
Lashkar-e-Taiba's deputy chief Saifullah Kasuri, who is believed to be the mastermind behind the Pahalgam terror attack, has openly threatened Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a clip that is now going viral on social media. In the video, Kasuri can be seen praising Pakistan Army Chief General Asim Munir, referring to him as Field Marshal, requesting him to teach a lesson to PM Modi similar to the Pahalgam attack on May 10th, 2025.
हम सतलुज के किनारे पर इस वक्त मौजूद हैं और ये दरिया सतलुज जो हिंदुस्तान से होता हुआ हमारे जिला कसूर से इसी इलाके से पाकिस्तान में दाखिल होता है। मुझे भी सैलाब के दिनों में ज्यादा वक्त सतलुज के किनारे पे सतलुज की लहरों में सतलुज की ऊपर चलने वाली कश्तियों और बेड़ों में ज्यादा वक्त गुजारने का मौका मिला है। और मैं खूब जानता हूं ये सतलुज में जो सैलाब आया है ये कुदरती सैलाब सारे का सारा नहीं था, ये मसनूई था, ये दुश्मन की अदावत थी, ये उसकी गुंडागर्दी थी, ये उसकी
Cristiano Ronaldo has already etched his name in football history with over 900 career goals across clubs and country. But as he continues to defy age and expectations, the burning question for fans is that can Ronaldo reach the magical 1,000 goal mark before he finally hangs up his boots? That's the big question on our sports meter today. Scan the QR on your screen and have your say, because your votes decide the score.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my...
In February, you made a public claim that the Epstein client list was, quote, sitting on my desk right now for review, end of quote. You then produced already public information and no client list at a major media event hosted at the White House. Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review?